And what do you think of Beau James?
Oh, he's awesome. He goes. I don't want to call him old, but he's been in the business as long as I have, and he's a fountain of knowledge, and a lot of the younger guys could learn a lot from him.
And hey, handsome Beau James, the king of Kingsport, man. Hey, I was there. I've known him since a young teenager. He was, I take my hat off to him. He's just 15, 16 years old, and he's booking southern states, with his mom and dad. They're running the wrestling company at that time, now, of course, he runs the whole show. He is the whole show. Misty James, what a beautiful lady, man, and what such talent. Beau has really brought her along, fast, and hey, she's the ladies champion now, and she's going all over the country, and man, I'm telling you, she's just great. Beau, I can't tell you enough how much I love you, son. God bless.
Weekly vlog number 3 here on KingofKingsport.com. Hello again, everybody. It's your old friend here, Beau James. Some people like to call me the King of Kingsport. I am taping this about 6 a.m. on Tuesday, October the 29th, 2013, which just happens to be my 25th anniversary in the sport of professional wrestling. You can see the poster right here over my shoulder. First event I ever helped promote, first payday in the sport of pro wrestling at 14 years old, October the 29th, 1988. Ronnie West, buddy, I miss you. We lost you this year, but you and Bob Polk gave me my first job, my first paydays in pro wrestling. And who would ever thought it would be here 25 years later? I'm going to tell you the life that I lived for many years. I never thought I would reach 25 years in the sport of professional wrestling. We're going to talk about that later. The Lord has blessed me so much, and this Sunday night, I know He's going to bless us with a great night right down there in Mount Carmel, Tennessee. The Rock and Roll Express 30-year of rocking tour comes to Mount Carmel, Tennessee, just outside of Kingsport Armed Forces Center Armory. Tickets are on sale right now right here on KingofKingsport.com and at Evermore Comics and Games, Eastman Road, Kingsport, over there beside Jersey Mike's on North Eastman Road. Save $3. Buy your VIP tickets in advance. Meet and greet, front row, and the souvenir program, all for the low price of $12. Also, go check out right here below us on the page last week's Blog Talk program. Ricky Morton was on there. We had some technical difficulties at the beginning, but he had a tremendous interview with us, talked about 30 years together with him and Robert, so make sure you go check that out as he talks about both the event in Big Stone Gap and Mount Carmel coming up this weekend. Also, this coming Thursday night, and each and every Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Do You Want to Be a Wrestler Kid Radio with myself as the host. I have a special guest every week. This week a little bit different. You can go to blogtalkradio.com/KingofKingsport, listen live, or go back and archive it anytime. I'm going to be answering questions from the fans this week about my 25 years in the sport of professional wrestling. So you can send them to me at Twitter at KingofKingsport, Facebook.com/KingofKingsport, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestler Beau James. Send some questions in about my 25 years in the sport of professional wrestling. I am going to try to answer as many of them as I can on the air this coming Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in and listen, or go back and listen to the archives anytime during the week. Also, we have been asked, are we going to be on television this Sunday night because the event is going on in Mount Carmel? Yes, we are. Very special program this week, and I cannot tell you what is on it because I don't know. Misty James is producing the show this week. It is a tribute to my 25 years in wrestling. I know that I've given her several matches that she asked for to include in the program this week from the 25 years that I've been involved in pro wrestling. So I will be watching it when it goes up on YouTube, the same as everybody else, to see what's on there this week. Is her and my nephews Jake and Dakota Booth have been putting this thing together, and it's going to be something special for me as my family pays tribute to me, and we're going to put it out there for everybody to watch. Now, let's talk about 25 years in the sport of professional wrestling. You know, if you were watching this and you grew up with me and we went to school together, you know I was a lifelong wrestling fan. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Sheely, was also my nephew's kindergarten teacher, and I was speaking to her one day when Zach was in kindergarten, and she said in all the years that she taught school, I was the only person at 5 years old to stand up and say what I was going to be and to live my dream and become exactly what I would say I was going to be at 5 years old. I was born with this sickness deep down in my soul of pro wrestling. I can't explain it. You have to be born with it. No one understands it unless you have the same sickness, and there's a lot of us out there, and when we come across each other, we have a special bond. We have a special friendship and relationship. May not like each other, but we have a respect for each other, and we have a special bond. I started as a kid going to the matches when I was 8 years old. I went to wrestling in Kingsport and Johnson City and Morristown, Knoxville. My dad took me to Charlotte to see the Great American Bash one year for my birthday. I am a true fan of classic professional wrestling. Never did I believe at 14 years old I would get to be involved in pro wrestling. Never did I believe at 15 years old I would be in the ring. Wow, you think about that. I had such an education growing up in this profession. 15, 16 years old in the ring with men like Hall of Famer Jimmy Valiant, who has had a special relationship with me. He's like my wrestling dad. The Russian Bear Ivan Koloff, who should be in any Hall of Fame. Jimmy Golden, Robert Fuller, the Riches, the Mongolian Stomper, the Fantastics, the Rock and Roll Express, and the Ronnie Garvin, and the list goes on and on and on. All these people I was so blessed to work with at such a young age, who helped me, molded me, taught me. And I sit there with my mouth shut and I listen, and I learned this business and learned the profession the same way that they did. Something that is missing today, if you ask me, and I'm going to talk about that Thursday, because the only constant thing in wrestling is change, and we're going to talk about change this Thursday on Blog Talk Radio. Also think about all the places that I went. You know, when I was a kid, I thought Knoxville was so far away. It was the big city. But you know, I've wrestled in places like Cleveland, Ohio, and South River, New Jersey. I've been to Denver, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Mobile, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, you know, on and on and on. And then there's some cities that I continuously go to, like Ashland, Kentucky, that I've been going to for years. You know, all the towns around Beckley and southern West Virginia that I've been competing at for years and years and years. And, you know, right here at home, special times I've had here teaming with KC Thunder, you know, selling out the National Guard Armory in Kingsport. Don Wright and Sandy Scott and all of them told us that night against the Bat Twins that it was the biggest crowd they'd ever seen in that building, the biggest gate they'd ever seen. Selling out the Kingsport Civic Auditorium not once but twice over the years. You know, it's something to be accepted all around the country, but it's even more special to be accepted right here in your hometown. And when people support you and come out and look at what you're doing, and I'm just so grateful for the life that I've got to live in wrestling. I'm so grateful for all the heroes turned friends, all these people that I worshipped, I hate to use that word, but I kind of looked up to them and wanted to be with them, wanted to be a part of what they were part of. People like Jimmy Valiant I talked about earlier, Ronnie Garvin, Bill Eadie, who was Acts Demolition, the Masked Superstar. All these people that I was just such a fan of that have become my friends. Heroes turned friends. Superstar Bill Dundee's another one that comes to mind. You know, this is the only profession, I think, maybe acting and singing and wrestling is the only profession where you can grow up and work with your heroes. And I have been so blessed to achieve all my goals. I've been so blessed to work with just about everybody that I've ever set out to work with. You know, also think about this morning, all the people that touched my life and were a special part of my life that we have lost over the years. I'm talking about just this year we've lost so many. Ronnie West, Percy Pringle, Dennis Hall, Miss Chris Kelly we just lost this past weekend. You know, we've lost Sherry Martell, Road Warrior Hawk, the Junkyard Dog, Wahoo McDaniels. These were all people that I watched as a kid. I grew up and got to work with and become friends with. They touched my life, and I'm ashamed to tell you, and I think a lot of us in this profession are ashamed to tell you, we never really took the time to tell people what they meant to us. And I'm going to tell you this, I hope and I pray that they know what they meant to me, because I hope that I meant something to them, you know, because they touched my heart. And I look around this office of mine, and I've got people hanging on these walls all throughout here, like my friend Mark Curtis, Trey Keller, all these guys that I shared dressing rooms with, and all these guys that I shared cars with, and we made a living together, you know, and we've lost them all at early ages, and it's saddening. But you know, we got to keep going, keep their memory alive, and keep moving forward. I also think about all the guys that I started out with, the ones that I've kept in touch with over the years, and yes, we've had ups and downs and we've had problems. But I'm talking about Stan Lee and Frank Parker, Scott Sterling, Chick White, Equalizer Crunch. These are all guys that Some of us started together, and Crunch and Chick were there to help us and mold us and guide us along and give us advice all through the years. You know, and it's some kind of bond. We can go a year and not see each other, but when we do, it's something special. I think about my friends Tracy Smothers and Dr. Tom Pritchard and Ricky Morton and all these guys that I met at an early age. And all these years later, 25 years, we still have been friends, keep in contact almost daily on the phone or on Facebook, social media, or share a dressing room every weekend somewhere around the country. You know, pro wrestling is a crazy business, and a lot of people don't understand it. They have, like I said, be born with this sickness to truly understand it. But my family has supported me, and I got to thank them. My family has supported me throughout the years. They have given me so much support, not understanding me, not understanding why I would get in the car and drive 400 or 500 miles one way for a match and get beat half to death and turn around and come right back home and wrestle around the house somewhere the next day and turn right around and leave again and go somewhere else. And I just laugh as I watch as my nephew Jake is going through the same thing now at 18 years old. He's chasing after his uncle, and he's chasing after a dream that he has himself. You know, he started the same age, doing the same things that I did, and I'm so proud of him. I think about my wife, Misty James. We shared our marriage with you, the wrestling fans, because you supported us so much over the years. We got married right there Thanksgiving night in the Kingsport National Guard Armory because we wanted you to be a part of it, because you are such a part of our life. You know, I think about all the things through the years, and the only constant, as I said earlier, is change. And I think about this, as this was told to me a few weeks ago by someone that I respect. Dinosaurs die out. The past is the past. You have to look to the future. And this month I have sit down at my 25th year in this sport, and I have wrote out new goals. I have wrote out accomplishments that I want to reach. I've reached so many. Television, magazines, wrote 2 books that were published that get great reviews, and I never thought anybody would ever care what I had to say. But you know, this is my goal and my dream now, is to help young guys and girls out there that are in pro wrestling that want to live their dream. They have bigger dreams than I ever had. They have bigger goals than I ever had. But I want to give them a place to learn and work like I did. I want to give them a place to learn knowledge and the way it should be, to celebrate the past in the present, to get ready for the future. You know, Southern States Wrestling's been around for 23 years this coming February, getting ready for a big night Sunday night. I hope you come out and support us. We have got a tremendous lineup of great veteran and young talent. I'm going to be sitting there with Joe Wheeler calling the action. I'm going to wrestle in the match. It's not going to be seen on TV. The Rock and Roll Express match is not going to be seen on TV, nor is Kyle Matthews and Eric Darkstorm going to be seen on TV. So if you want to see the main events, you have to be there. But as we get ready for the new era of Southern States Wrestling, the new television look, the new ring look, the new production, the new SSW, it's time for me to pull myself out of the ring. It's time for me to put the spotlight on young men and women who are chasing that dream. I will still be wrestling from time to time here locally, but nothing like I have in past. I still have bookings all over the country. We're booked all the way up to June, as far away as Las Vegas, Nevada. So don't think Beau James is getting out of the wrestling business, because that's never going to happen. As long as I'm breathing, I'm going to be involved. I love wrestling, but I also want to help people. I want to be positive. I want to look to the future. I want to help these young men like Kyle Matthews and Eric Darkstorm. I want to help Jake Booth. I want to help anybody that wants help. You know, as we get ready to close this week's vlog, I want to take a time to give a special thank you to each and every one of you who watch us on television every week, or watch us on YouTube, watch these vlogs, watch our classic matches. Look right below me. I've put up a few special classic matches this week over my 25 years. If you've bought a picture of me or my wife or my nephew, if you've bought a ticket to a Southern States Wrestling event or any other promotion that I have ever wrestled for, thank you very much for supporting me in my dream. Thank you for helping me make it 25 years. I'm the dream child. I dreamed it, I lived it. My grandpa Tater told me when I was 10 years old, son, you can have anything in this world you want. You just have to go get it for yourself. And those words ring so true to me right here today. I also want to take a moment to thank every promoter. Greg Mazuriak, James Hines, Randy Hales, Bill Dundee, Jerry Lawler, Cecil out in Seattle, and the list goes on. And if I keep naming, I'm going to forget somebody, and somebody's going to be mad, and I'm sorry. But thank you, every promoter and booker that's ever booked me, ever paid me, ever given me a chance to live my dream. to support me. Thank you for 25 great years. Yes, we've all had down times. Yes, we've all had trouble through these 25 years. But the good has always outweighed the bad for me in this sport of professional wrestling. That's why I hold on to it, and I love it so dearly. I want to thank all the boys out there that I ever shared the ring with, shared the dressing room with, a hotel with, a car ride. We all worked together to support each other. We all made it through it together. Hey, you don't have to support Beau James. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't particularly care for me, but that's all right. They're going to keep talking, let them talk. They're going to keep running down whatever, let them run down. All I want you to do is support professional wrestling. Professional wrestling has been so good to me, I just want to give back to it. And it's been given to me through the wrestling fans, and I want to give you something to be proud of. I want to give you something in the community that you can say, hey, that's our wrestling. I want to be able to help Toys for Tots and Ronald McDonald House and fire departments and ball teams all around the region. I want to be able to do it all over the country, anywhere anybody books Misty and I. And I want to thank my wife, Misty James, for 8 wonderful years together. She's been right beside me. Not in front of me, not behind me, but side by side as we have fought this battle to survive in a sport that changes every day. It's nothing like it used to be. That's the title of the 3rd book, by the way. So, thank you for watching the vlog this week. Thank you for supporting me. Make sure you look here on Southern States Wrestling News here on KingofKingsport.com. Make sure you look at the DVDs on the left and right hand side. Also my books, and buy your tickets right now for Sunday night, Mount Carmel. Blog Talk Radio Thursday evening. Special show this Sunday night. If you're not in the Tri-Cities, watch it. If you're in the Tri-Cities, you better be ringside Thursday night, because you're going to see one heck of a card there. Until next week, right here on the vlog, KingofKingsport.com. One last thing. I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus, who has made me strong enough to survive these 25 years, who has lifted me up every time I have fell down and doubted myself. If I look upon Him, I know I can do it. Thank you very much. See you right here next week. God bless each and every one of you.
I fired Beau James's ass one time because he needed his ass fired.